Mm. You know we've expired. Tell me why you won't leave, please.
Let's get into it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Articulate. Welcome, Beaux Emerson. How you doing today, Beaux?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you for having me.
Nice. Thanks for coming out here. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I invited. We have met one time.
One
before
time.
This.
One time.
And we really connected, I think, in my opinion. And one of the things I actually wrote down because it's kind of stuck with me ever since we hung out that one time. And there that goes. This is a professional podcast, by the way.
Why, did I say something smart?
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
Kinda?
it was just something that kind of stuck with me because I was at a point within my. So you're a creative person, known for you're a creative. It seems like that's part of your big thing.
That's right.
I'd like to consider that I dabble. I've read.
Come on.
Yeah,
Come on.
I've read The Artist's Way. You know what I mean? I know.
You're creative. You're a comedian. That's a creative in itself.
Right. Well, it sometimes doesn't feel like it when you're out at a bar on a Tuesday night with a bunch of sad people.
Well, they don't determine your creativity.
That's true. That's very true.
See, that's another gem.
Yeah, there is another gem. Yeah, so I mean, what you said, I was at a point where I was, I just wasn't seeing a lot of payoff, especially with the podcast. This is when I was still doing just audio, and within comedy, I wasn't like booking a lot of shows. Still not, it's fun, but
It's coming.
yeah. I've reoriented a lot of my direction with what I want to do with all that.
Okay.
Anyways, I'm progressing in ways that I see now that are more valuable to me in other terms. But something that you said to me was consistency always pays off. That is a rule.
Yes.
That apparently has
Now,
been
was this
proven to you.
tequila me or was this the initial conversation that we had? Because tequila me and it's
Yeah,
might be.
I think it was after a couple.
Okay,
Days, not gonna
okay.
lie, because I was like, you said it really
It
confident.
still matters. Consistency. He is right. That's true.
Yeah. You just said it so confidently, and I'm like, man, he really believes that, And like,
I do.
you're also, if you don't mind, how old are you again?
I am in my mid-30s.
Mid-30s.
Just reached mid-30.
Yeah. Well, and that's what.
Don't look like it though, because good black don't crack.
That's true. I mean, yeah, you look like I was gonna guess 28. So yeah, it looks good. But yeah, it was something to me like it sounded like you were coming from experience, and so
Absolutely.
I'm a 24-year-old. You know what I mean? I have put. It feels like I put a lot of time into this, which, of course, fractions as I get older, it's gonna be a lot. But it just did. Again, it was that. I was just second guessing, doubting like all the work that I've been doing and everything like that. And I really, it's your confidence with it, and especially you as a creative and what you've accomplished has helped me work to where I am now. So, if you don't mind, you want to give a little background of your creative endeavors?
Sure. I am a singer, songwriter, vocalist, actor, vocal producer, legal head, have a master's in legal studies and all that kind of stuff.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. But I'm a creative at heart. I'm a Leo, and a lefty. So I love music. I love storytelling. I think is when I cut everything down to the simplest form, it's being a storyteller, and that takes the avenue of acting, of music, of motivational speaking, of being an encourager to people. So I've been at this it's almost 10 years. So not quite my 10,000 hours like the good book says to become a master of anything. But I've learned that consistency over time will outweigh consistency and discipline will keep you when you're not booking the gigs, when you may feel like somebody who's more talented than you is succeeding in getting everything, or somebody who, which really pisses me off sometimes, somebody who you feel like is not as talented as you are, or they're not putting in the hard work, and they seem like they're getting further along. It's that consistency and that discipline that is definitely going to keep you in those times when you want to say, can we curse on here?
Yeah.
When you want to say, fuck it, I don't want to do this anymore. But that discipline and that consistency will keep you every time, and it does pay off. I've been in several movies, some that will be coming out next year that are life changing for me, and it's the fact that I stuck with it. There are people that I know in L.A. and in New York who are on Broadway, who are on television, and it would seem like, oh, they've gotten farther than I have, short amount of time, or they've taken longer, and it's just like I worry about my own timeline now.
Yeah.
So I'm not so concerned about how everybody else is doing things, but I also think about what can I learn from, what are they doing correctly that I can apply, or what did they do that was a dickhead move that I can avoid. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, that's one of ever since starting this has been one of the biggest things for me is like, seeing other people achieve things. You're like, good for them, but also, come on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Where's mine?
Yeah, and especially when they're younger than you too. It's just like, this person, you're 18
Yep.
and you're killing it out here. But right? But but the thing is, you want to get things done as fast as possible. You want to achieve your potential as soon as you can, right? But it conflicts with the philosophy because in that regard, logically, the faster you do it, the faster you get to enjoy the potential and the faster you get to reap the benefits, right? Logically, that makes sense. But if life is all about the journey, you know what I mean? It's like, wouldn't you want to make the journey last as long as possible?
You have fun during the journey. You have fun during the journey, and you trust the process. You trust that every decision that you make, right or wrong, will bring you to the ultimate goal. Are we going to get everything right? No, because that's life. Are things going to be unfair? Yes, because that's life. But are things going to go our way sometimes? Absolutely, because we are putting the time, the effort, the consistency in it, and we are. Hopefully, you are keeping good character, because I feel like that, especially in the creative space and collaborating with people, which I find sometimes can be people butt heads when it comes to collaborating, especially in the content creation space, but because of ego. But if you keep good character, that also will push you forward, because someone who's more talented than you can be a complete scumbag, and somebody may give you an opportunity because, hey, you know what? That comic was an asshole. You know what? I may not think, not me personally, because he's good, but I may not think that, let's give him a shot because, you know what, he wasn't an asshole, the other night, or he has a good character, or he speaks well, he da-da-da. All right, let's move him up on the list.
Right.
Now you have another opportunity to, knock out a crowd with your comedy or whatever you're doing. So.
Yeah, and that, kind of relating to that, there was this one question that came up, that comes up often within creativity too, with myself, but it seems like it's a general consensus type thing. Is how much of it is, within creativity for you, at least, heart and soul, versus how much is like mind free flowing. You know what I mean? Because I've watched, David Lynch has this master class on creativity. And for him, he seems to think, and I mean, it sounds like this is more the way that I think as well. It's like basically creativity, things come to you. You know what I mean? You don't always, you can't just be ideas have to come, especially good ideas, at least for me, are the ones that just come randomly. You know what I mean? The best jokes are the ones that I wake up and be like, "What? All right, yeah, I'll write this down," But there is a certain amount of heart and soul, effort, work, and things that you have to put into that, So what are your thoughts on that?
I think it is a little bit of both. I'll take, as a singer, as a vocalist, as a songwriter, sometimes, if you Team iPhone, your voice memos. And so there'll be times when I'm, at my day job and I'll hear melody in my head and I will get up from my desk and go to a place and sing that melody into my phone. Or
you're in the bathroom,
whatever, blah, 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 words or whatever like that. And then it's something that I can take to the studio, whenever, and say, hey, this is what I heard. And thank God I have some good producers and engineers that I work with and stuff that are able to say, oh, okay, so you mean this, and they're able to play through stuff for me and work it out. So sometimes the ideas just come, and you have that aha moment of, okay, that would be a good song lyric, or that'd be a good story to retell, and then you kind of have to shape it in terms of how can I make this live through me? as the artist, as the creative. How do I make this song? What can I bring to this song? What part of my heart and soul can I breathe into this work to shape it into the art that I want it to become?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So it's like the idea comes to you, and then from there, so that's just like the free flowing mind aspect of it, and then the heart and soul and the discipline that you have put in on yourself with those tools.
Yep.
That's you putting your style on
Yes,
that idea.
your style, and you doing the work and adding your flavor. Because I believe that we all come from a big. I believe that there's one stream of consciousness, which is why sometimes I'm sure you probably had this where you think something like, oh, somebody should invent this, and then you go to Google and someone's already invented it, or oh, I think such and such should happen, and then you go and somebody's already done it. So I feel like we all have this one big body of consciousness that we're able to pull from, and it's up to the individual to let it, if it comes to you, see what you can do with it, see where it goes.
Yeah, definitely. That's and I think that's kind of again the things that just come to you are hopefully. It's funny. I'm gonna sound like such a douchebag, but Beethoven has this quote.
Not the dog.
I'm about to quote Beethoven.
Okay.
The dog.
Rough, rough, rough.
Yeah, no. He has this quote basically that the all right, I'm gonna butcher the quote now. Okay. Apparently, now that I'm overthinking it.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. But basically, the goal of creativity is to reach divinity and then share that with as many people as possible. You know what I mean? And so divinity can be whatever your idea of divinity is. But it sounds like your idea of divinity in this case is that one consciousness.
Yeah.
You know, so being able to do that is really sharing. In my opinion, I think divinity in that sense is like truth. You know,
Yes.
and expression. You know,
Truth and expression, and that comes in many forms. And I feel like we all, again, as creatives, everyone, the people who are supposed to find you, your tribe will find you. There's a certain frequency that each individual carries with themselves, and that's why you have your certain group of friends flock to you. That's why certain you may attract a certain girl or attract certain people to you because of the frequency that you give off, that divinity that you have that's just naturally within you without even trying, with your natural essence.
Yeah. It's crazy because it's hard to think that you have some natural divinity when you're at a bar on a Tuesday night, you know.
But there's somebody that likes what you're doing, what you're bringing to the table, or at least sees potential in what you're doing, that will follow you on Instagram, that may come up to you and say, hey, you did a great job, or hey, you know what, I like this, but maybe you want to try to do something else, or my friend is also a comedian or is a creative and blah, 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 and you're able to make those little connections.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's why the podcast for me is something that I love doing, because it really does, like, creative collaboration is something that I have yet to fully appreciate, I think, because I'm a little tainted in that aspect. Like, I've tried to go into creative projects with people and then they drop out, or I find that people
suck.
People suck. I find that people aren't as reliable as you'd like them to be all the time. So that's why I do like podcasting and stand up, because those are things that I don't need to, rely on anybody else for. So, but I have heard the creator of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Rob McKenna or whatever his name, but he says that within creativity, his biggest value is creative collaboration, because it is hard at first, but once you get it, like you're saying, is when you share that connection with somebody and you agree on a creative outcome,
it's amazing.
It could be beautiful. You want to talk about channeling one. You want to talk about channeling divinity through your one style. Imagine working more than one style.
If 2 or 3 work together.
Yeah, if it is coming from one place, then you want to channel all that one through as many vessels as possible.
Absolutely. I think sometimes, and I'll speak for, I'm sure you can probably attest to this, but, in the Philly area, I feel like sometimes we get a bad rap when it comes to collaboration sometimes, and sometimes it's rightfully so, because I feel like ego is at the forefront, and it's like, well, I don't want to do their podcast because I have my own podcast, and I don't want them to outshine me because, oh well, he's funnier. He's funny as fuck. So I'm not gonna risk doing a podcast with him because I don't want my to look less than.
Yeah.
And that goes with singers and actors and
Or
things
vice
like
versa. It's like I don't want to bring myself down to their level because they're not as funny as me. Yeah.
that too.
I feel that.
That too, and it's a fine line because yes, we as creators we are prideful about our work, because it comes from our heart and our soul too, because it's part of our truth, and so there is a level of ego that we all have, but it's how to have compassion with that and be able to have ego, but also be walk in humility at the same time and care about the other creative person's essence and how that works together.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. That did good
It
for
was
me.
beautiful. Yeah. You
Little
get every one of those every
Yeah,
once in a while.
every once in a
You were
while.
channeling the
Yeah. Little divinity. Yeah.
the little bit of divinity there. Yeah, I mean that kind of goes back to the for me, the people that want to get things done as quick as possible versus people that want to appreciate the journey, right? Because ego, for me, I tried to live without ego for a little bit, and I don't know, maybe I was doing it the wrong way because I just felt lost. You know what I mean? Like I just felt like like it's the difference between doing and being. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm just being right now. I'm not doing it. I'm just being.
It's natural, babe.
Yeah, and it feels good to a certain extent, but if you don't put, in my opinion, again, maybe I'm fairly naive on this, but if you don't put a little bit of that ego into wanting to achieve something, you know what I mean, then there's not going to be any drive to achieve anything. So and that's what people try to. Not people, but in general, I've heard that sometimes people are like, ego is a bad thing and you should get rid of it and, have ego deaths and things like that. But I think it's a tool.
It is a tool. But you have to, again, you were saying it, you can go too far with it.
Oh, for sure.
I've been on set where it's like you can't look that actor. You can't speak to that actor, or if you speak to them, you can't look at them directly in the eye, or just little things. You're just like, what? Like, we're human. He may be the number one on the call sheet,
Was
but
Idris Elba?
no, he was very nice.
Okay.
He was very nice on Concrete Cowboy. He was very nice. He spoke to everybody. But again, he's Luther, and he has major success. You would think that somebody like that who should have a ego, don't talk to me, stopped and talked to kids, stopped and talked to the extras, stopped and just had conversations with everybody. And it's like, okay, like you're down to earth. Like, I met Adam Sandler at Hustle, filmed here last year.
Oh yeah, I was around. I didn't just catch him.
It was a very good experience.
Nice.
And speaking of ego, like he was one of the most down to earth celebrities, actors, comedians I have met, and you're just like, all right, it's Adam Sandler. Oh God, he's walking with coffee. I'm like, is that iced coffee? Is that Starbucks? He's like, nah, it's sure is good though. He's like, yeah, we're getting ready to do some do the next scene. We're getting ready to do some music, and I'm like, oh, all right. What do you want to listen to? I don't know. Whatever you put on. So I say whatever song, whatever.
You put on your own song.
He comes back with the boombox. I say whatever song it is. He puts it on and it's like, yeah. I was like, you ever do the electric slide? He's like, nah, I ain't doing electric slide. No, let's do the electric slide. So him and I start doing electric slide, and then all of a sudden, the cameras start coming around, and then everybody starts gathering around, and then it turned into us doing electric slide, and then it turned into a dance battle with everybody. It didn't make the movie, but it's on the behind the scenes footage, and it's on his Instagram and stuff like that. But he was so down to earth, so cool, and you're just like, this is the guy I've seen on SNL. This is the guy, Happy Gilmore and all these kind of things, and you would think he would be like, completely no ego,
down to earth. Yeah,
down
man.
to earth.
That's talk about a guy that can use his ego for a tool, but he doesn't let it overcome him. Especially. I mean, you can't really have an ego when you play like Happy Gilmore, when you play. I don't know. I guess you can. Maybe that's a little.
He has every right to.
Yeah. After some fun stuff like that, but it's a really cool experience. Being able to meet those people, and do that sort of thing. I wanted to ask, what do you think is more embarrassing? Going in the bathroom and singing a voice memo like really loudly, or going in the bathroom and saying a voice memo talking about like your dick and balls for like a comedy bit.
Wow. Right. Wow. Well, see, it depends because I haven't done the dick and balls
Right.
in the
Well, I haven't
voice
done the
memo and
singing,
bathroom
yeah.
memo, but singing memo, I'm a good singer, so I mean,
Not as embarrassing.
not as embarrassing. Well, see, if no one's in there with you, then either one is okay.
Yeah.
It's just if you hear and someone's flushing and then they've heard you talk about your dick and balls, and you're just like, oh well, okay,
Yeah, that's how I got to deal with
boss,
that.
hey.
Yeah. You shake hands with them after.
No. Because I've seen people that don't wash hands, and I'm just like, yeah, this is why you don't even get like a elbow, fist, nothing. From me.
None of that.
No. I'm very about hygiene. That is disgusting.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, we're in 2022 now. We all know wash your hands, and we should.
do we?
Yeah, we.
But
we
do
should
we?
all know. True.
Some people, I'm not going to say who, but I found out that some people just started washing their legs during the pandemic, and I thought that it was something that was, universal, but it's not.
Nah.
And I saw something online today on Instagram on my feed after I refreshed it, and was like a parent saying, "Yeah, I let my child go a whole half year without,
I saw that
giving
in
a
your story.
baby." What do you
Without
mean
bathing?
without bathing?
I don't know.
That's disgusting.
It's kind of gross. Wash
Children
your
carry so
babies.
many germs. Wash your babies,
babies.
please.
I'll wash your No, I won't. I won't
Wash your
baby.
babies.
I'm not gonna wash any babies.
Is there like a baby washer?
The baby washer? I mean,
Nah,
you could
that's
throw
not-
it through like car wash. It'd be fine.
Eh.
Just so you.
No less. Oh.
Before we get too far away from Idris Elba, I do want to mention, and I want to put this out there. He has he sings. He does music too. I don't know if
He's a DJ.
Yeah, but he's also on Lime Cordial's recent EP.
Okay.
And he has a song called Apple Crumble. The whole EP is with him.
Okay.
But Apple Crumble.
But he's singing.
He's singing on
Okay.
it and kind of doing a little bit of rap stuff with it and everything.
Okay, guys, I know he rapped. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out.
You should definitely check it out, and you all should check it out. Too. It's
Okay.
amazing.
Okay, Idris.
Yeah, Idris is an amazing person. But speaking of music, I know that I did go ahead and listen to Casual Luxury,
Yeah.
2021 EP by
right.
one Beaux Emerson.
Woo, woo.
What was the? I do, dude. I mean, obviously, what was the Mondays was the header.
Yes.
But the single you did was
Better.
Better.
Yes.
But both of those bangers,
Okay.
right? But I really liked Masquerade because you
okay.
gotta throw the little rap. I don't know, the little rap verse in there. It always like tops it off for me. You know what I mean?
That the shout out to Don Michael Jr. who did the rap on that. He has amazing music out. Tri-state producer, rapper. He can sing too, and stuff like that. And shout out to Sound Effects Studios in Pennsauken. But funny story about that is that I wrote. That's why people hold on to your dreams and keep working at it. So I wrote that. I was in 10th period Roman Catholic High School. I think it was like study hall, and I wrote the melody for that came in my head, and I wrote the first and second verse and the chorus to that in high school. Did not complete it until last year.
Yeah.
So,
That's crazy. So I mean, technically started working on that EP, in high school? What,
in
10,
high school.
15 years
Yeah.
ago? That's crazy. Yeah, that's funny. I still have bits that I do from that I wrote down in high school. But wow, yeah. That's sick, man.
That's a really special special song because again it confirms that you're on the right track. It wasn't for nothing, and that idea that came from that stream of consciousness
right.
had a purpose.
Yeah.
It didn't happen when I thought it was going to happen, but it came through me at the right time when I came through me, but it was purpose through me at the right time.
Yeah. So was that album fun? Was that a fun experience?
It was. I have to say it was. It is a love letter to myself as an artist, because so many times people will speak negative things into someone's life. So I'm very conscious about what I say to my godchildren, what I say to my nieces and nephews and little cousins, because what we adults say around kids or speak into their lives can have a lasting effect. And so,
Wash your babies.
first of all, wash your babies.
Wash your babies.
But pour into them. Tell them that they can achieve anything. That they are smart. That they are kind. That they are important. Okay, I'm quoting The Help. But speaking to them can change their lives for the better. So for me, that Casual Luxury EP was me saying that you are an artist, that you can sing, that you can write songs, that you can vocal produce, that you can create something out of nothing, and that it can matter to other people. And so the music that I'm working on now is completely different. It's, no holds bar, like vocals on 10. You're just fully in who I am as an artist. But it is a true love letter and proof that if you set your mind to something, that you can accomplish it. So
nice.
That
So
holds a special place.
That was like a long term. That was like a baby for you. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
Especially as a first EP, that was something you
Yep.
wanted to be true to you and your process.
Yeah, and it wasn't perfect. I remember one time the song "Long Gone," which is track 2. I think that's the one that I'm doing the most singing on. There are high notes in it that when I was recording it, there was another podcast going on in the other room aside from the recording booth, and I like cracked. And Uncle Junior's like, "What's the matter?" I'm like, and I had kind of like got in my own head, like, I don't want them to hear me. And by me saying I don't want them to hear me, I caused myself to crack because I wasn't believing in myself. He's like, "Dude, just sing the fucking song. You can sing your face off and just sing it. They're not listening to you. They don't care."
Right.
And no sooner than that, I was like, "Oh, well, all right, you're right."
Yeah.
And then I just 2 more takes and I had it done. So, kind of getting out of my own way. So yeah,
That's a big thing that you got to do with stand-up comedy and life in general. Just I don't know. I think overthinking is one thing that, especially nowadays with everybody, social media and all that stuff. But I just caught myself doing that all the time, overthinking everything. And playing out scenarios that weren't even real scenarios.
It'll never happen.
Never
ever happen.
Part of that thing is like, they barge in and be like, "Hey, can you just quiet down?" You're like, "We're in a studio.
Yeah.
What do you want me?"
Yeah, never happened.
That wouldn't happen.
Never happened.
Yeah.
Never happened.
Yeah.
But isn't it funny how we I was just talking to someone else about this, one of my life coach, vocal coach people, and I'm saying how we can get so caught up in our own head and the voice that is talking back to us with that negative stuff that, oh, it's not going to work out, or what if this happens? You don't want to do this because what are they going to think? What are they going to say? Da, da, da. And it's just like, shut up. Sit down. I got this. Don't be afraid to fail.
Yeah.
And also don't be afraid of success. And I think those 2 things can keep a person trapped, along with perfection and ego. All those things can work, and you can just be stuck in the same place.
Everything's working against you.
Everything.
That's why you got to work against it.
Yes.
Constantly. So
it's a process every day.
Yeah, I mean, fear of failure is, I think, I've failed so much. This is what stand-up's all about. You bomb until maybe you have a decent set. You know what I mean?
Now, does that ever, as a comic, does that ever make you question, or has it ever made you question your validity as a stand-up comic? When those times when you have bombed, have you been like, "Oh, well, I'm just gonna fucking give this up because this joke wasn't funny, or tonight wasn't a great night for me. I should just give this up"?
Oh, every time. Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that's exact, because it's just like instant feedback, and it's like glaring you in the face. You walk off, and especially because a lot of the times you're around your peers, and if you have a bad set, your peers aren't going to be like, "Hey, it's all right, man." I mean, sometimes maybe, for the most part, they're going to joke about it. They're like, "Oh, that's the worst set I've ever seen you do," And you want to talk about coping with failure, you're dealing with failure. That's one way to really that's bottom of the barrel, Yeah. So I think it's a good practice. You know what I mean? It makes the wins a lot higher. But I mean, there's not a comic you wouldn't talk to that would be like, after they come off a bomb, and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna quit tonight." Some, no, it's not all the time, right? And especially there's not it's not as heavy. Like it's not as often as I make it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But there are multiple times that is a thing that happens. So yeah, fear of failure, not a big thing for me. Fear of success, I have no idea what that feels like.
I liken that to like I'm not going to do it because what happens if I become successful? What does that mean? How does that change my life? How does it change the people that you're connected to? People come out of the woodwork asking for money.
True.
You have cousins that you never met. You know, a one night stand that you know thought the condom was. Hey, you have a kid. You know, all these type of things that play in your mind that again may never ever happen. But
Drake's got to put hot sauce in the fucking condoms now.
yeah, because they're gonna come back for him.
Yeah.
So I know I've had the fear of failure, yes, you know, but in the fear of success, if I do this, what does this mean? This move me away. The time that you're going to spend away from family. Is it going to cost you relationships? Right. Is it going to cost you time with friends, significant others, all that type of stuff? So, what am I going to have to sacrifice for this? And is the sacrifice worth it?
Right.
But then you don't know until you do it.
Yeah.
But then you're afraid to do it because you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've thought about that a lot, too. I mean, that's a big question for a lot of people, like, when you ask them, like, oh, would you ever want to be famous? It's like, for me, absolutely, yeah, why not? You know?
And it's good that you're honest about that.
Yeah, who doesn't want to be famous? But some people are like, no, I wouldn't want to ever deal with that, you know? It's like, I wouldn't want to have to, you know, hide my face when I go outside. Like you said, your relationships would never be the same. Is that person being honest with you? Or do they actually like you? Or, you know, things like that. You would have to deal with quite a bit. But, you know, in my opinion, that just seems like another level, you know what I mean? Just like another reality that you have to cope with. And, I mean, I think like you're saying is that if you're going to be successful, don't let the fear of that, you know, keep you from your full potential. Yeah. And it's because like you'll cope, you'll figure it out. You know, life has its problems, and you'll deal with it. Yeah. But as long as you're doing the best work that you can do, channeling that divinity as much as you can,
absolutely,
or the hard work, you know, is paying off. Like reap the benefits.
Yes.
You know, reap the benefits.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to reap the benefits.
Yes,
is what it sounds like.
Exactly. Do not be afraid to reap. And I think I was watching an interview with Luther Vandross, and they had asked him something about being famous, and he said, you know, I like the type of fame that I have. He said, I'm not Michael Jackson famous where I can't go anywhere. He said, I'm famous enough where I can still go to the grocery store by myself. And I thought about that, and I'm like, you know what? And I'm thinking about Luther Vandross, you know, one of the best singers of all time, male singers of all time. And I'm thinking, he's famous, but that's not Michael Jackson famous. That's not, you have to have a whole entourage or Beyonce famous or something like that, where you have to have this team of people around you to scope out stuff because crazy people are around. But, you know, I can go to the grocery store. I can go to IKEA and buy what I need.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's I guess that's kind of the goal, right? The ideal level of famous, where you can reap some of the benefits. Maybe a couple people will recognize you.
All my bills are paid. I got money in the bank. I can
really
take a trip whenever I want to. I can work whenever I want to or not. I can pay for people's college tuition if I want to or whatever. Yeah. You know, be a blessing to other people. Give other creatives a chance, and opportunities that they may not have because of whatever life's thrown at them.
Yeah, definitely.
Famous enough to do that.
So the new album, you got a new entire album, or is it just a new EP?
Well, this is a new EP. Just started working on it last month.
Okay.
That, along with being in a new stage production of Memphis
Yeah?
musical. So
you got a lot going on.
I got a lot going on, and I think I have two more acting, like just straight acting gigs, no music involved, right. That I have to film in the next 2 months. So this last quarter of the year is pretty busy.
Yeah.
I'm excited, but
that's good though. Work, you know, and it's real work. You can add all of those things on your portfolio.
Yes.
Memphis, the musical. Where's that going to be?
That's going to be at the Grand Theater in Williamstown, New Jersey, off Broadway. But I'm one of the leads in that. So it's good. It's my home theater. It's where I did The Color Purple when I was Harpo 8 years ago. So, you know.
Oh, man. Musicals? That seems like a compilation of just so many of all
it's
of
a lot
the
of things.
talents.
I was never a theater kid. Now I'm preachers. Parents are preachers, and I come from a line of like church-ish stuff. Some people say I'm still a heathen, but so I didn't get like the acting bug like really until later. Music came first. I used to sing on the Spirit of Philadelphia back when they had like performers on there.
Right.
But the acting thing, musical, you're tying everything together and dancing and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, But it's fun. It's fun. It's when you're doing stuff that's off Broadway or regional theater or things like that, you give people an opportunity that may not get to go to see a show on Broadway. They're going to take time out to come with their family, friends, and check out a show. And a lot of times the performers are just as talented as some of these Broadway people, if not more. They just, for whatever reason, life either didn't give them the opportunity to do that, or they just chose not to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, that's what we were talking about before. Sometimes you're just not always in the, life works out the way it does,
Yep.
So, but that is cool, man. I mean, I'm the people that I know that do theater, they have so much fun with it. And I mean, it is, like I said, it's singing, acting, dancing, and it's all live.
It's live.
So like improv is real.
Yes, you have to show up. I always like to say that you have to. Whoever's in the audience, it's not their fault that you're having a bad day. So you have to make sure that as the artist that you are giving your best each show,
right?
Because it's not their fault of what you're going through.
What you're
it's not
going
their fault.
through.
Yeah, it's not their fault.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that. But yeah, so musical, and what can we expect from you creatively moving forward?
Well,
all that stuff.
all that stuff. No.
What are your plans? What's your long-term goals with
My
this?
long-term goal is to be full-time. Is to be famous. Famous. It's to just really thrive as a creative, to really leave my mark on this earth. I believe that I'm here for to be a vessel to storytell and to be an encourager. I really enjoy pouring into other people, speaking positive affirmations into other people, motivating other people.
Right.
And I can kind of see potential in people, and I like to, even if they don't see it yet, to kind of spark that in them and push them to be their best selves. Because we're all creatives to an extent. It's just we have different avenues.
Yeah.
But I think I definitely like people to believe in themselves more. I think we've gotten so, life can make you so jaded, and people, again, speaking to, what people say to you and how they speak to children and things like that. People can put so much of their own bitterness onto other people because either they don't have the balls to go out and do it, or they're jealous because you're going out to do it. And so sometimes it can cause people to kind of shrink back within themselves and not go for it. And I want people to know that they can achieve success becoming whatever they want. And it doesn't have to be famous, or fame doesn't have to be it, but to be successful in whatever it is that they're doing. So my true purpose, fulfilled, living a fulfilled life. My main purpose is just to be a storyteller and an encourager. And if I can just do that on a grand scale and inspire millions and millions of people, that works for me.
Yeah, man. Well, I think that's a good message to end on. I got your Instagram handle up here.
That's right.
Beaux Emerson right there. Listen to Casual Luxury. It's on Spotify.
It's on Spotify.
You promote Apple Music.
Apple Music, Tidal, YouTube.
Nice.
Everywhere.
Yep. Go see the musical.
Memphis Musical, November 17th through December 3rd.
All right.
Cup Full of Crazies coming out. I'm a lead in that. And then next year, Shaw, the movie, which was filmed here in Philly, will be out too, and that's going to be on screens across the country. So,
hell yeah! All right, but appreciate you coming out, man.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, man.